2020 may have been tough, but we still have a lot to be thankful for. Happy Thanksgiving from your Filipino radio experience, PHLV Radio.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas, PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.
It's a lunch hour in Vegas, and we're on the dot with Dot and Mia here on PHLV Radio.
Hello, welcome to On the Dot on PHLV Radio. My name is Dot.
And I'm Mia. And welcome to our second airing of On the Dot, a public service of the University of the Philippines Association, Alumni Association of Nevada. This program is for the benefit of UPAAN in cooperation with PHLV and
the community.
Yay.
Yes. And so we are doing our public service in terms of answering your day-to-day situations. So we read letters and then we do coaching. Coaching is not psychotherapy, it's not counseling, it's not even therapy. Coaching is partnering with you so that you find your own inner power and you find within yourself the capacities to move yourself up, to move yourself forward. That's what coaching is. So that's what we're doing here. We are just playing around with you, but since coaching is not real time here and we are reading letters, we're not really interacting with the letter sender in real time and space. So some of our activities here in a portion in our show will be role playing with Mia and our guest. We will have a guest this morning or this noon. Yes.
So last week, our topic was about long-distance relationship. And we would like to thank our listeners. We had 2 feedbacks from overseas. One was from Boracay, Philippines.
Yes.
And she's actually a love coach.
He.
And her take was saying no.
Oh, okay, yes.
So her takeaway was your saying no to somebody is actually saying yes to herself.
Yes.
So that was her take. She's actually a love coach, right?
It's a he.
Oh, it's a he.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
So,
he sent me the feedback. Yes.
Oh, okay. So he's a love coach from Boracay,
Yes.
Philippines. And then the second feedback was from Alberta, Canada.
Yes.
So we have
And
listeners from overseas. And her takeaway was also saying no. Right? Saying no.
She talked about utang na loob.
Yeah, it was hard for her to say no because of utang na loob.
And utang na loob is Tagalog for a debt of gratitude. A debt of gratitude, yes. It's like when someone does you a favor, say in 1985, and you love the favor. For example, he put you to school in 1985 and you graduated and you probably sent him thank you notes, you sent him your graduation diploma and all that. And then on and on and on, you owe that person forever a debt of gratitude. You have to constantly thank him, acknowledge him, probably pay him, probably give him a percentage of your earnings or whatever. So it's like a guilt.
Right. A Philippine culture.
Yes, it's like a hint of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And because you owe me, it's because of me. Like it's a never-ending return,
which could be a good or a bad thing.
It could be a good thing if the recipient is truly grateful and has the capacity, the ability to return the favor or to forever be grateful for you constantly.
Right.
And the negative take on that is if the giver uses the debt of gratitude to hold you as a bait, as
Like a bargaining chip.
yes, he could be subject to emotional, what do they call that?
Blackmail.
Blackmail. Thank you, Mia, for supplying that. I said, what's the next word? Yeah, something like that. So anyway, thank you for that letter sender. Yes, thank you for bringing that up.
So our topic for this week is interracial marriage. And what is interracial marriage? It's a marriage between two individuals with different culture, different beliefs, different races, and different race.
Yes, different. Yes, that's right. Very,
So-
very, very accurate, Mia.
So our letter sender for today is Mrs. B.
Mrs. B.
And should I
Yes,
read the
go
letter
ahead,
already?
please.
Okay, so the letter goes, Dear Dot. I
Dear
guess
Mrs. B, yes.
this letter sender is a Filipina, and she's married to a veteran husband for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume it's an American veteran husband.
I suppose so.
So, the letter goes, Dear Dot, I have been married to my veteran husband for 10 years, and we have a son who has a handicap. This pandemic, my job in the restaurant became off and on, while my husband lost his day job for 2 years. We rely on his benefits for a lot of things. Then, 2 months ago, he went into depression
Oh, okay.
and left me and my son. Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
He said he will divorce me. Oh no. I'm shocked because we did not fight, although I must admit we had been cold towards each other for 2 years already. No more dates, no sex, no vacation. He did leave me some money for our son, left me the car, the house, and said there is no other woman. I don't want a divorce, and I want him back. I don't know why he left without discussing with me what we can do to save our marriage. Please help me to get him to come back home. I'm willing to go to counseling and even change everything in my life just to have him back. I don't want to go back to the Philippines because I don't have relatives there anymore. Please give me advice, and thank you for your show. God bless you, Mrs. B.
Mrs. B, thank you for your letter, Mrs. B, and for trusting us to talk a little about this. First of all, you're asking for advice, so it's okay to give advice because she asked for advice. If a person doesn't ask for advice, then we don't give advice. We can offer ideas,
Coaching, yes.
we can offer practices, but advice is really direct. So, Mia, did you notice anything in particular? Any red flags there? Just yes.
Well, they weren't really, they were cold to each other for 2 years already, so that's actually a red flag.
Red flag,
A
yes.
very big red
Very
flag.
red. Waving high.
Yeah.
Bright and colorful.
So they weren't having fun for 2 years. So
That's yes.
Yeah.
So, Mrs. B, we feel for you. And nobody wants a divorce. I mean, especially if you're a Filipina. In the Philippines, divorce is a no-no. It's not even, I think we are the only country in the world, the Philippines, that has no divorce laws
Right.
yet. But we have an equivalent to that, the annulment process, and it's entirely different. I mean, it's kind of the same, but it's very complex, very complicated compared also to separation laws. So I don't know if things have changed over the past 10 years when I first filed for my annulment. So it's complicated. But But your story is your husband went into depression, and you said 2 months ago. So it's possible that the depression was seen only 2 months ago, when it had been probably building up before 2 months ago.
Right.
See, I don't think it really happens overnight, in an instant, split of second, and like tonight I will have depression, or last night I was very happy, today I'm depressed.
Right.
It's
It
a
added
build
up.
up.
Yeah.
Yes, and like you said, Mia, this is the COVID season, and we have been on lockdown. Maybe not physically locked down,
Correct.
but it feels like our emotions, our social interactions, our psyche, our sense of our freedom have been squeezed tight. And if I don't feel good about it, me without depression, how much more a person with depression? How much more for Mrs. B with a son who has a handicap,
Yes.
and she's probably unhappy. She had probably been unhappy for quite a while. No dates, no sex, no vacation. That's a formula for sadness, in my opinion.
Right.
Because you're in a marriage. Marriage is partnership.
Right.
And if you and your partner are not on the same page, that's kind of very sad. So at this point, I have a practice or an exercise for Mrs. B. But before that, I'd like to bring in our guest, because she might have very good insights about this. And would you like to, can we patch her on?
Incidentally,
Yes.
Alexa Balingit is also our member highlight.
Yes.
She is a UP member, a UPAN member, which is Alexa Balingit Alvarez,
Yes.
who is married to Doug Alvarez, which is also they're in a interracial marriage.
Yes. Can we bring her in?
Yes.
Is she online? Yay! Hello, Alex. I'm going to look this way. Hi,
Alexa Balingit Alvarez is UP Manila graduate, developmental science, developmental
Studies.
Developmental studies from UP Manila, batch 2014 dot.
2014. Okay. Are we talking about
Just
years?
6 years ago.
You're so young,
I
Alexa.
know. Hi,
my
Alexa.
God.
How are you?
Hi. Good,
I'm
thank
looking
you.
at her here, and I have to look at her here.
I'm
Alex-
sorry, we didn't have that course back then.
Yes. Alex, were you able to hear a little bit of the letter?
Yes, I heard everything.
So, what's your take on that at the onset? You know, what's
Um,
your what's did you notice any red flags?
Yeah, the 2 year without any sweetness, no dates and everything, that's already a red flag. Plus, I think, when someone says that they want a divorce is a long time process too. They can still make it work if they really want to, if she put in an effort into it. But if not, love yourself.
Love yourself. Yes. That's why I just would like to tell Mrs. B that if counseling and therapy are your needs, because you want the other person back, you want your husband back, but no one else can do that for him. We cannot drag him to your house. We cannot go for what is that? File for a missing person report from at the
Without,
police
yeah.
station, and I can't practice voodoo or black magic and bring him in and cast spells and return to Mrs. B. It's not my line of work. Maybe there are people who do that, but not me. So I would recommend professionally, since your husband is a veteran, there is the Army One Source,
Oh, right.
armyonesource.com, search for that. I don't know about Alex. Is your husband Marine or
He's a Marine
is a Marine?
veteran.
Is there a resource for an all-in resource for the Marines?
There probably is, but I don't know about it.
All right. In the for the Army, there's one source, and you can also go to the VA, Veterans Administration. The VA offers all of these help for couples who are, children of veterans, spouses, family relatives of veterans. Well, not directly the relatives, but they offer counseling. They offer suicide watch. They take care of that. They can put you in. They have a facility. They have a room there where they can watch over you, make sure your mental health is taken care of for at least 72 hours or something like that. So I would recommend that for you, Mrs. B, if you're listening. Go to the VA and ask for help. But if you want to partner with me for coaching, I would ask you to have a goal for yourself, moving forward for yourself and your minor kid who has a handicap. And I'm sure you can also look for ways to help your son, I don't know your financial status and how that is affected. So for now, if you are looking for, Mrs. B, if you're looking for a forward motion goal for yourself, so we're here to practice a little bit about that. But wait, let me talk to Alexa first. So Alex, what do you think would be problems or challenges, top of your head, the top 3 perhaps, or top 4, top 5 problems for Filipinas married to Americans specific to this situation? We can be very broad, but for now, let's just be specific to this.
Okay. I think the first one would be the cultural differences. It's always different how we celebrate holidays, and how there's always some communication problems regarding cultural context of whatever we say. And there's also that, even though we try to not think about it, there's always that societal disapproval that especially whenever we're in the Philippines on a vacation, people will look and they would say bad things.
Bad things?
Really?
Yes.
Like what?
Yeah, like because especially with me and my husband, we're 20 years apart. And the Filipinos.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say anything, but that they do that. And for the Filipinos that are living here in the U.S. with their husband, there's also the sense of isolation. That especially all the families and friends are back in the Philippines, and whenever you have problems here, there's really no one to talk to about it.
That's
interesting.
Yes, I can relate with that. We can relate with it, even if you, Mia, even if you're married to a Filipino, you can relate with the cultural
Right.
differences, right?
Especially with Alexa too, there's the age difference and the
Yeah.
cultural difference too. So, yeah, I could see the issue.
Yes,
Yeah.
major, very
Yeah.
major. So there's the age, there's the mindset, the cultural mindset, and then there's also the spiritual belief.
Yes, and the
yes.
how do you call that? Communication is also a
Thank
big
you
thing,
for bringing
yes,
that up,
yeah.
Mia. Communication. We are very, let's just say the word lucky or blessed,
Right.
because we can speak English.
Correct.
We understand English. Let's say even if it's just written English, even if we don't speak well,
Correct.
So English is not just the words. Do we hear it right? So listening, and then do we speak it right?
Correct. Yeah.
Speaking,
the diction, and
Listening,
everything.
speaking, reading, and writing. So the 4 skills involved in communication, like Alexa mentioned, are we listening the words correctly? Are we listening to the nuances of the language? Are we listening to the idioms?
Right.
I had a hard time understanding the idioms, like the alarm went off, the bomb went off, the car alarm went off.
Or turn off the electric fan.
Yes, turn off,
Or
switch
kill the
off,
electric fan.
all the idioms, right? We learn English from non-speakers of English back home. So the listening part, then the speaking. So many differences.
And the
there.
level of education.
Level
too.
of education, yes, correct. And then reading and writing. So those are the two other skills. But in daily life, like you mentioned, Alex, communicate. Did you say cultural context? So, for example, holidays and we don't communicate very well with each other. Like Mia said, the communication there is it's the glue. For me, it's the basic.
Right.
Well, we started writing each other, right? Texting, this communication. So how was it for you, Alex? What worked for you? And Doug?
For me, it's really just communicating everything, communicating well. Communication is a two-way traffic, so I don't have to just talk and talk. I have to listen to and learn about his cultural context, whatever he says, because sometimes I would misunderstand things that he will say, but I will try to learn it and maybe do better next time.
Yes.
And then with all these challenges, I think commitment is another thing that can help.
That's good.
Yeah, just committing to making it work, and even we fight. It's normal in marriage. Fighting is normal, but the how you make up is and how you love him or her more after each fight is committing to love and making it work is it helps a lot. And then and then connecting and just connect with him. Understand that it's okay to fight, but still need to connect and not feel distant. And just it all goes down to communication. Communicate well.
Yes. You said fighting. It's very hard to fight we think in our language, we process things in our own head. We use our own language. And then in order to communicate the anger, the hurt, the disappointment, we have to translate all that into words.
Right.
And then sometimes at the height of anger, I can't explain. Sorry. I did that, I do that with my husband. Sometimes he's an American. He's also a vet.
Correct.
Sometimes when I'm so exasperated and I could not find the
words.
English word, I
you have to
speak in
translate
Ilonggo.
it. Yeah.
Yes, I couldn't translate, so I just say, basta na, king kusimo. So, and then he would say, okay. And this is where my daughter said, she said, Mommy, can you also talk about the tips for the husband or the spouse who is not a Filipino or a Filipina? Do they have a sense of urgency to learn also our language? I'm sure they take time. They have taken time to learn our culture, research a bit what a Filipina is like or what a Filipino is like, what a culture is like, what a country is like, everything. But do they also commit to learning, say, 100 words, foreign words, but are dear to us? So in the case of my daughter, she's married to an Austrian, so it's German.
Oh.
So she has to speak in German. He has to speak in English, but he's also learning Ilonggo, which is from Iloilo for us, as well as Tagalog, because she also studied in UP in Diliman. So going back to Mrs. B, do you have communication problems? Are you speaking clearly with each other in the language that you both are comfortable with?
Right.
Do you express yourself? Do you, both of you, do you go the extra mile the extra mile
To understand
in
each
communicating
other.
and learning the nuances of both languages. So those are a couple of the problems here. Problems, so to speak, or challenges. But you said, Alexa, that what worked for you very well, as well as for all other marriages that are working, whether interracial or not, is commitment.
Commitment.
Yes. Commitment, I like one definition of commitment is it's commitment, not the circumstances that make it work, that make us work. So, are you ready to play a little bit, a small game with me, Alex and Mia? Yes? Yes? Okay. This is just, we're just saying it's a game. It's a coaching process, and it's also called the Integrated Life Matrix. I have it here for those of you on the camera. It looks like that, but I'm not going to. For our listeners, it's a wheel. It's like a pie chart, but we're not going to go into the pie. So here's what we do. If we are in a context where we have different mindsets, like you said earlier, Mia, different belief systems, religion, age, race,
Culture.
choices in music, culture, language, way of life, So here's a little thing that you can do. If you're ready, are you ready? This is, I promise you, this is safe. It is not illegal. It's not immoral. It is not fatal, dangerous. Okay, so here are you can look at the 8 areas in your life. All right, so here are the 8 major areas in your life. And if you have a pen, just jot down one thing that you want to work on. You can do this with your husband or your spouse, right? He can have the same thing. He can have the same criteria, and you do that, but you do it separately. And then later on, at the end of the exercise, you compare your notes with each other. Okay, so one area is your health.
Okay.
What is it about your health that you want to work on? Because we're moving forward now, including you, Mrs. B. What is it about your health that you want to work on? Okay, just one thing, all right? Okay, don't think too much. Use your intuition. Very good. So that's your health, your dental health, your medical health, your diet, your sleep, and all that. Okay? Secondly, the next area, are you there, Alexa? You can flash Alexa once in a while.
Yes.
Lifestyle. What is it about your lifestyle that you want to work on? Lifestyle is your home environment. Do you want to recreate the house? Do you want to move to a different neighborhood? Do you want to have a different ambiance for your bedroom? How are you sleeping? Are you in a clean and supportive neighborhood? So that's one area. Just very quickly, yes. Thirdly is your career. If you have a career, Mrs. B, I heard you saying that you were in a restaurant. So do you want to stay there, or do you want to equip yourself and go for another job? All right? So career. And for those of you who are listening, our listeners, think about your career. Are you doing something you really hate? And then you're spending 8 hours of your life hating something. You're spending it on hatred. So look for something that you really want to change, go forward in your career. Do you love it? Is someone sabotaging a project in your office? How's your relationship with your boss, your suppliers, your employee, your stakeholders, things like that. Number 4, finance. Do you have financial goal, Mrs. B? So you said that you have, you rely on his benefits. Maybe you want to take care of your finances now. So think about your finances, credit cards, debits. Do you have a gold reserve? Hey, you want to buy gold right now? Now would be a good time to buy gold. Okay. Money, your liabilities. Do you want to pay off something? Take care of your insurances. Your anything, documents. Number 5, We're almost there. We're almost coming to an end. Number 5 would be your intimate relationship. Is there something you want to do with your intimate relationship? You want to go on more dates, frequent dates? And do you want to communicate more? Do you want to, I don't know, spice up your sex life or whatever? Think about that. For you, Mrs. B, your intimate relationship will be with your own self. You need to be comfortable with your own self. If you love yourself, you can be sure that someone will also love you. Don't like yourself, don't expect anybody to like you. So that's me, the harsh me. Sorry. Social life is the next category. It includes your family and your friends. Do you have grudges? Do you have grievances against someone? What do you want to do with your social life? Jump it up, power it up. You want to connect with old friends, clean out some conflicts in the past. Next would be your creative expression. Your creative expression entails your involvement in the arts. Are you watching music, concerts, exhibits? Do you have any kind of expression for your artistic side? Do you sculpt? Do you paint, draw, dance? Mia here is a dancer. Yay! Yes, okay. Photography, creative expression. Do not forget that very soulful area in your life. And then the last one is self-development. This includes your intellectual, cognitive, mental development. Are you pursuing a career? A course? Are you pursuing a new degree? Okay? Or do you need to finish something? Are you taking seminars and workshops and all that? So Mrs. B, while you're waiting for a solution to your situation, maybe you want to equip yourself, study something. So, take a deep breath. I'm the one who's tired here. Talking too much.
2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, I'm complete.
Okay, let's go to Alex. What would you like to share? Did something come up for you that you've never thought of, but you thought of it just now?
Yeah, on the social life, because when during in a marriage, usually your friends are my friends kind of thing. You need your own set of friends that's just your friends and not his friends. Because in something if something like that happens, like with Mrs. B, if you split or divorce, then all of your friends, it's going to be awkward to talk with all of them because they're his friends too. So you need your own social life so you can have someone to talk to when something happens.
That is powerful. I just got goosebumps from that. We are taking for granted the friends we have. Sometimes coming here to America, we forgot our friends from back home. We have no real interaction with our friends. And then we merge with the spouse, the friends of the spouse. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, thank you. Mia, what's yours? Anything new that came up? You never thought about it?
Mine is actually the intimate portion. Well, no. It's actually, having 3 kids, the vacation was all about family. You think about family. But really, you should think about having romantic vacations with your partner to enhance your romantic relationship. So
beautiful.
That's
Mia.
my take.
Yes, beautiful. So there you go, friends. Just a few minutes of sitting down and looking at these 8 major areas in your life. You think about your satisfaction with them, and then you do something. And then now you can compare with your husband. You can say, oh yeah, you also want a romantic vacation. Let's go do it. All right. So maybe it's just a staycation at one of the hotels here. You can do that.
Correct.
Yes. And your friends too, Alexa. Yes, you can create new friends. Right? You have friends here, right?
Yeah, I do.
Can I be your friend?
You're already her friend.
Right. And so that's it. That's our session for today, Mia.
Thank you, Alexa.
Thank you so much, Alexa. Would you like to say something? Is there something you would like to share with us? A tip for couples who are in a mixed relationship or family, blended family, or
actually my tip will be for all couples, because in my opinion, I think all the marriage are in some ways interracial, because people have different cultures and beliefs. So it's just like what I said earlier: communicate, commit, and connect. So I think that works for every relationship, not just marriages, but it will work more on the interracial marriages where there's some kind of problems that regular marriages don't have. So especially the communication.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
When you said, it makes so much sense when you said that
CCC.
every marriage
the three
is
Cs.
every marriage is an interracial marriage. Oh my God, yes, that is
Beautiful.
And the triple C, yes. Okay. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
And thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug, for taking care of baby Alex. All right. Mia, do you have any takeaways from there?
No, the three C's is beautiful.
Connect,
and really, it's about commitment in any relationship.
Communicate, commit, and connect.
Yes.
Yeah,
And,
beautiful.
yeah.
So that's
It's really about committing. Committing to any relationship would make everything work.
Correct. So I hope we answered a little bit of your concerns, Mrs. B, and for all our listeners, I hope you picked up something from here. Thank you so much. So that's it.
Thank you.
All right. So let's see. So if you want to write letters to us, it's 702-498-6185 and .lenore@gmail.com. DOTLENORE@gmail.com. We welcome your letters.
And download the PHLV app through Google Play and the Apple Store. And join us again next week, next Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time on the dot. And we leave you with a quote for this week: love is blind despite the world's attempt to give it eyes.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful. By
Beautiful.
Machona D.H. Liwayo.
Yoo-hoo! And that's for me. My goodbye quote for you is: the love you give, it's the love you receive.
See you next
time.
week on the dot.
Yes. Bye.
"2020 may have been tough, but we still have a lot to be thankful for." Happy Thanksgiving from your Filipino radio experience, PHLV Radio.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.